You open your investing app. The market just hit an all-time high, and your thumb hovers over the buy button, frozen. Something in your chest says wait. Something in your chest says this is the top, this is the peak, this is where everyone loses money. So you close the app. You tell yourself you'll wait for the dip. That was 3 years ago. You are still waiting. Here is what nobody explained to you about that moment. The fear you felt wasn't financial. It was ancient. Your brain is wired to see a high point and assume a fall is coming. The same instinct that once kept your ancestors away from cliffs and ledges. That instinct saved lives on a mountainside. It quietly destroys wealth in a brokerage account. Because the market doesn't work like a cliff. It works like a staircase that happens to keep getting rebuilt higher over and over for a century. Let's actually look at what happens when someone only invests at all-time highs. Not what you assume happens. What actually happens according to the data. Nick Maggiulli, a data scientist who studies long-term market behavior, ran a test that should be required reading for anyone who has ever hesitated at a high price. He compared 2 imaginary investors. One invested only on days the market closed at a brand new all-time high. The other invested on any random day, high or not. Same amount of money, same time period, same market. The investor who only bought at record highs did not underperform. In many stretches, they performed just as well and sometimes better than the investor who bought on ordinary days. Say that back to yourself for a second, because it breaks something you've believed your whole life. Buying at the top was not the disaster you were told it would be. Why? Because all-time highs are not rare, broken moments in a healthy market. They are the normal texture of one. Since 1950, the S&P 500 has closed at a new all-time high on roughly 1 out of every 20 trading days. That's not a fluke. That's not a bubble. That is simply what a market trending upward over decades looks like from the inside. Think about your own life for a second. Every time you felt strong, healthy, or successful, was that the end of something? Or was it usually a point along the way? A market at a high is not a market about to collapse. It is a market that has been working. Here's where it gets uncomfortable, though, because knowing this doesn't automatically fix the fear. You can read the data and still feel your stomach tighten every time the number goes up. That's because you're not actually afraid of a high price. You're afraid of being the one who bought right before it fell. You're afraid of being wrong in front of yourself. This is loss aversion, first studied in depth by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, 2 psychologists who discovered something strange about how humans experience money. Losing $1 doesn't just feel bad. It feels roughly twice as bad as gaining $1 feels good. Your brain isn't built to weigh gains and losses evenly. It's built to protect you from the loss, even at the cost of the gain. So when the market is high, your brain isn't calculating probability. It's protecting you from future regret. And it will happily talk you out of a decision that decades of data support, just to avoid the small, sharp feeling of being wrong for a week. This is the real reason you keep waiting for the dip. It was never really about the price. It was about not wanting to feel foolish. And here's the part that stings a little. While you wait to feel emotionally safe, the market does not wait with you. Terrance Odean, a finance professor who has spent his career studying how individual investors actually behave, found something that should worry anyone who thinks they're just being careful. Investors who try to time their entries and exits, waiting for the right moment, tend to underperform investors who simply stay invested. Not because they're bad at math, because trying to be clever costs more than staying boring. Every year, the research firm Dalbar publishes a study comparing the returns of the average investor to the actual return of the market itself over the same period. Year after year, the average investor earns less than the market they were invested in. Not because the fund performed badly, because the investor's own behavior, the pulling out, the waiting, the trying to time the perfect entry, quietly ate the difference. You are not losing money to the market. You are losing money to your own hesitation. Picture 2 people. One invests $2,000 every single month, no matter what the market is doing. High, low, flat, doesn't matter. The other waits, watches the news, waits for a correction, waits for the smart moment. 10 years later, the first person has a portfolio. The second person has an explanation. That's the trade you're actually making every time you wait. Not gain versus loss. Certainty versus a story you'll have to tell yourself later about why you didn't start. Now here's the twist that most people never hear, the part that actually changes how you should think about this. If buying only at all-time highs performs almost identically to buying on any random day, then the specific price you buy at was never the main variable. Time in the market was. JPMorgan Asset Management ran a now well-known study looking at what happens if you miss the market's best days. An investor who stayed fully invested in the S&P 500 over a 20-year stretch earned dramatically more than an investor who missed just the 10 best trading days in that same period. Miss the 20 best days and the damage compounds even further. And here's the cruel detail. Many of those best days happen right after the scariest ones. The recovery hides inside the crash. If you're on the sidelines waiting for safety, you're often waiting through the exact days that would have rewarded you the most. So the question was never really, is this a good time to buy? The question was always, am I going to be in this, or am I going to keep watching from outside it? Think about the people in your life who quietly built wealth over 20 or 30 years. Chances are, none of them timed it perfectly. Chances are, they just kept going. They bought at highs. They bought at lows. They bought during years that felt uncertain and years that felt calm. The one thing they didn't do was stop. That's not luck. That's just what consistency looks like from the outside, after enough time has passed to make it look easy. Here's what this actually means for you, starting with your very next paycheck. You don't need to predict the top. You don't need to predict the bottom. You need a plan that doesn't ask you to feel brave every single month, because your feelings were never a reliable financial instrument to begin with. Automate it. Decide the amount once. Let it happen on a schedule you don't have to think about, because the version of you sitting there deciding whether today is the right day to invest is the same version of you whose brain still flinches at heights, whose brain still weighs losses twice as heavily as gains, whose brain was built for a world with cliffs, not candlestick charts. You were never actually deciding whether the market was too high. You were deciding whether you trusted yourself enough to stop waiting for a feeling that was never going to arrive. So open the app again. The market just hit another all-time high. And this time, your thumb doesn't hover.